This is the government news brief for Tuesday, December 15, 2015. In the news, statistics point to a slight reversal in the rate at which serious crimes were being carried out. The government is moving ahead to bring more land under cultivation in Region 2, and efforts are being made to improve access to antiretrovirals. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. Although the number is still too high, the police force is reporting a reversal in the rate at which serious crimes are being committed. Paul McAdam reports.
Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjadhan is crediting the Guyana Police Force's recent successes to the support coming from citizens. The minister recently spoke with the Government Information Agency. According to Minister Ramjadhan, members of the public must not only share information, but also join the police force.
You must not only gripe and groan about the crime situation, you have to start wanting to apply to become members of the police force. We know that the salaries presently are not the best. Okay, but we are going to have better times, and better times can come with better policemen.
The minister said that the force is approximately 2,000 ranks short of its optimal capacity. He called on citizens to help fill this shortfall.
I know that a lot of people are saying that we're not doing anything, and that's not true. At least we have opened back some schools in the rural areas, and we are getting at least 16 per classes, like in the area in Quarantine, at the Adventure School there in Upper Quarantine. It is important that we all play our roles, otherwise we're not going to move, but just gripe and groan.
The public's assistance, along with the measures initiated as part of Operation Dragnet, is yielding results according to the force's high command. The latest statistics for serious crimes show a decrease of 2% to 7% from the 9% increase over the same period compared to 2014. In addition to intelligence-driven policing methods, this reduction is due to increased interdiction and faster response time from ranks.
The government is looking to bring 5,500 acres of land into cultivation in Region 2. The land was identified since 2006 under the Aurora Land Development Project. More in this report.
The coalition government plans to advance the Aurora Land Development Project. This was announced by Agriculture Minister Noel Holder during a recent visit to Essequibo.
What I can say is that it is on the list of projects to be taken on during this administration. In terms of details of where it's at right now, I don't know whether the head of NDIA, Mr. Frederick Flass, will want to elaborate on that.
Holder was at the time speaking at a public meeting held at the Anna Regina Multilateral School. At the meeting, the residents indicated their desire to see the Aurora Land Development Project come to fruition.
We have budgeted for this work, and we hope that it will be approved.
You can have a tourist that comes to Guyana, they land, they're walking down Main Street. The tour operators have created a great program. They've taken them, they've had a wonderful experience. The hotel has looked after them well. They go down Main Street or any street and they get robbed. That's a big issue. That has undone the 20 or how many other people that have worked to make that experience good.
The project was tagged as $1.3 billion, with $500 million committed to the procurement of equipment for road maintenance across the region and the procurement of a bulldozer to maintain the region's farm-to-market roads. During the meeting, a call was also made for a level playing field in terms of ensuring that all stakeholders and not a selected few have access to international markets for Guyana's rice. For the Government News Brief, I am Shanti Goberdan reporting.
Still on agriculture, the government's efforts to transform the sector and make the hinterland a new frontier for cultivation is fully supported by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The government and the FAO recently signed the 4-year country procurement framework to facilitate support in agricultural development. Here are the details.
The country programming framework is really a document which outlines the FAO partnership and support with the government of Guyana. It is a document that is very flexible. Even though it will last for the next 4 years, it is flexible enough to account for any change in dynamics within the agricultural sector.
The agreement, in which technical and other support is provided to Guyana, can be modified in the future if the government so desires. The country programming framework covers 3 priority areas:
food and nutrition security, sustainable management and utilization of natural resources, and here we are speaking about land, forest, and fisheries, climate change, and resilience of livelihood to natural disasters. The third area is agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and hinterland development. And you will understand why, since the government's trajectory rarely zero in on using the hinterland as the frontier or the next frontier for agricultural development.
The country programming framework is a planning tool which is developed and co-owned and jointly implemented by the Guyana government and the FAO. It defines priority areas which both parties agree to work on over the medium term in pursuit of national development objectives. For the news brief, Shanazlo.
As the government moves to develop the local tourism sector in a comprehensive and sustainable manner, a number of challenges have been identified. More in this report.
Tourism Minister Cathy Hughes is of the view that there is a greater need for effective time management in the public service, as this is affecting the development of the local tourism industry. Noting that tourism must become everyone's business, the minister is calling on all Guyanese to play a role so that the sector could grow. She pointed to the impact crime is having on tourism.
You can have a tourist that comes to Guyana, they land, they're walking down Main Street. The tour operators have created a great program. They've taken them, they've had a wonderful experience. The hotel has looked after them well. They go down Main Street or any street and they get robbed. That's a big issue. That has undone the 20 or how many other people that have worked to make that experience good.
Hughes noted that the pileup of garbage and indiscriminate dumping of waste was having a negative impact on the industry. She is now happy that the Restore Guyana campaign is currently ongoing to clean up Georgetown and its environs.
The encouraging things I've seen recently is any Guyanese on the street taking responsibility for how the place looks and how other Guyanese treat. So I was happy to see somebody the other day saying to somebody, no, you can't throw that there, pick it up. Because if you've got a beautiful street that everybody's cleaned up, why would you want to do that?
Among the plans identified by the Tourism Ministry is to put in place the requisite mechanism to benefit and encourage private companies in the sector to expand and further develop their business. For the Government News Brief, I am Shanta Goberdan reporting.
Guyana is aiming to have 90% of its HIV-positive citizens accessing antiretroviral treatment. This is as the country sees a decline in the number of recorded cases. Shivani Rampasad reports.
For the past years, Guyana has received a notable decline in the number of HIV-positive cases. The government is currently aiming to further reduce this number.
Over a decade ago, HIV in Guyana was viewed as a death sentence. HIV was shattering families, communities, and development. With united efforts of the people of Guyana and their partners, significant efforts were put in place to ensure that people have access to life-saving medicines. The AIDS response has been like no other. From the start, it has put focus on the people and put their needs first. It has been a turning point for the recognition of health as a human right, and it has brought extraordinary results on treatment and prevention alike. The HIV and AIDS response has brought to the light the darkness of discrimination, and none of this could have happened without the leadership of people living with HIV and the implementers on the ground who believed that we could effectively fight stigma and discrimination. There has been a decline in HIV prevalence among key populations at risk of HIV, and now we need to get to zero new HIV infections among children.
The coalition will be placing more emphasis on making treatment available to the populace, while at the same time working along with the UNAIDS to achieve its 90-90-90 target. This target aims at reaching a status where at least 90% of the HIV-positive population in the various countries are aware of their status and are accessing treatment.
To make the 90-90-90 treatment target reachable, countries like ours should refocus their response and give specific attention on who are being left behind. There are many out there who still do not know their positive status and who are not yet accessing treatment. At the current pace, we shall not end AIDS as a public health threat. Our experience shows that together we can set ambitious, even aspirational goals, achieve them, and then reach for more. The new objective before us of ending AIDS by 2030 is therefore welcome. Fast-tracking the response will rely on front-loading investments and accelerating rights-based action in the coming years. It will also mean fundamentally changing the way the response supports those populations that continue to be left behind. There must be a paradigm shift.
Further, the country is on its way to achieving recognition for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission. Since 2008, the reported cases of HIV in children under the age of 1 year has remained below 5. In addition, within the national cohort of people receiving antiretroviral treatment, the survivability within the first 12 months is over 80%. At 24 months, the rate is 75% survivability. 36 months, the survivability rate is over 72%, while for 60 months, the rate is 63%. For this government news brief, Shivani Rampersad reporting.
And that has brought us to the end of the government news brief for Tuesday, December 15, 2015. Find all our programs on our website, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to send us your Guyana Nice photograph. This one is from a friend of Gina.